Mr. Abernathy's farm felt empty. The chickens still clucked, the cows still mooed, and the sun still shone on the fields of golden wheat, but the joy had vanished. His wife, Martha, had been the heart of the farm. Her laughter echoed in the kitchen, her gentle hands tended the garden, and her warm smile greeted everyone who came near. Now, only silence remained. Martha had passed away during the harsh winter, leaving Mr. Abernathy heartbroken. The farmhouse, once filled with love and warmth, now felt cold and lonely. He missed her terribly. He missed her stories in the evening, her delicious pies, and most of all, he missed having a family. He longed for the pitter-patter of little feet and the sound of children's laughter. He missed sharing his life with someone. He tried to keep busy with his farm work, but it was hard. Every chore reminded him of Martha. He would see her old gardening gloves by the back door, or find one of her favorite recipes tucked away in a drawer, and his heart would ache all over again. He yearned for a family to share his life with, someone to fill the emptiness in his heart and the silence in his home. One sunny afternoon, a colorful wagon rolled into town, stirring up dust and excitement. A man with a booming voice and a wide grin stood atop the wagon, ringing a loud bell. Hear ye, he shouted. Come one, come all, to a very special auction. An opportunity to find the help you've been searching for. Mr. Abernathy, hearing the commotion from his porch, slowly made his way into town. He was curious, though a bit skeptical. Auctions usually involved farm equipment or livestock, not people. As he got closer, he saw a crowd gathered around the wagon. The merchant explained that people seeking employment were offering their services to the highest bidder. Farmers, shopkeepers, and families could find cooks, cleaners, farmhands, and more. It was a chance for those in need of work to find it quickly, and for those needing help to find it easily. Mr. Abernathy watched as the first few people were presented. A strong young man offered his skills as a blacksmith, while an older woman advertised her talent for sewing and mending. The crowd buzzed with interest, and bids were placed. Mr. Abernathy felt a strange mix of curiosity and unease. The idea of buying someone's labor felt wrong, but the thought of having help on the farm was tempting. The auction continued, and Mr. Abernathy shifted uncomfortably. He couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. Martha would never have approved of such a thing. She always treated everyone with kindness and respect, regardless of their situation. The thought of owning another person, even for a short time, felt like a betrayal of her values. Yet, the loneliness gnawed at him. The farm work was piling up, and the silence in the house was deafening. He missed having someone to share meals with, someone to talk to in the evenings. He missed the simple companionship that Martha had provided. He told himself that he didn't need a servant, he needed a friend, someone to help him around the farm and ease his loneliness. But could he really find that at an auction? Was it right to seek companionship in such a transactional way? He wrestled with his conscience, torn between his principles and his desperate need for connection. The sun beat down on the crowd, and the auctioneer's voice droned on, each new offering adding to Mr. Abernathy's internal conflict. He knew he had to make a decision soon, but he wasn't sure which path to take. Just as Mr. Abernathy was about to leave, convinced that the auction wasn't for him, the merchant presented another hopeful. This time, it was a young woman named Sarah. She looked tired and anxious, and her pregnant belly was clearly visible beneath her worn dress. Standing beside her, holding her hand, was a small boy with wide, innocent eyes. His name was Thomas. Mr. Abernathy's heart clenched. He imagined Martha, so full of life and love, in Sarah's position. The thought of a pregnant woman and her child being auctioned off like property was deeply disturbing. He noticed the worried look on Sarah's face and the way Thomas clung to her leg. They looked scared and vulnerable. A wave of sympathy washed over him, eclipsing his earlier reservations. He saw not a potential servant, but a mother in need, a child who deserved a safe and loving home. The other bidders seemed indifferent, their eyes cold and calculating. Mr. Abernathy felt a surge of protectiveness towards Sarah and Thomas, a feeling he hadn't experienced since Martha's passing. He knew he couldn't just stand by and watch them be sold to the highest bidder. Something had to be done. The auctioneer started the bidding for Sarah and Thomas. The initial offers were low, reflecting the perceived burden of a pregnant woman and a child. Mr. Abernathy hesitated for only a moment. He thought of Martha, who always helped those in need, no matter the cost. He remembered her saying, "Kindness is never a waste, Samuel." He raised his hand. $5, he called out, his voice trembling slightly. The crowd turned to look at him, surprised. He wasn't known for impulsive decisions. The bidding continued, slowly climbing higher. Mr. Abernathy kept bidding, his determination growing with each offer. He wasn't sure why he was doing it, but he couldn't bear the thought of Sarah and Thomas falling into the wrong hands. He thought of the empty rooms in his house, the silent evenings, and the lack of laughter. Maybe, just maybe, he could offer them a better life. Maybe he could honor Martha's memory by showing them the same kindness she would have shown. With a deep breath, he made another bid. $10, he declared, his voice now firm and resolute. He was in this to win. The bidding war continued, but Mr. Abernathy was resolute. He raised his offer again and again, until finally, the auctioneer's gavel came down with a resounding, "Sold." To Mr. Abernathy for $15. A gasp rippled through the crowd. Everyone was stunned. Mr. Abernathy, the quiet, reserved farmer, had just bought a pregnant woman and her child. Even he was surprised by his own actions. He hadn't planned any of this. It all happened so fast. He approached Sarah and Thomas, who looked at him with a mixture of fear and confusion. He offered Sarah a gentle smile. "Don't worry," he said softly. "You're safe now." He paid the merchant, then led Sarah and Thomas towards his wagon. As they rode back to the farm, Mr. Abernathy couldn't help but wonder what he had gotten himself into. He had no idea how to care for a pregnant woman or a small child. His life was about to change in a way he never could have imagined. The farm, once silent and empty, was about to get a whole lot more complicated. He just hoped he was up to the challenge. The setting sun cast long shadows as they made their way down the dusty road, the old wagon wheels creaking with each turn, carrying them toward an unknown future. When they arrived at the farm, the old farmhouse looked imposing against the darkening sky. Mr. Abernathy helped Sarah down from the wagon, then turned to her, his expression earnest. "Sarah," he began, "I want to be clear about something. I didn't buy you to be my servant. I know that's what the auction was about, but that's not how things will be here." He continued, "I saw you and Thomas, and I knew I had to help. You're a guest in my home, and I want you to feel safe and comfortable." He hesitated, then added, "Of course, I could use some help around the farm, but that's only if you're willing and able. Your well-being and the babies are my priority." He led them inside the house, which felt strangely unfamiliar even to him. He showed Sarah to a bright, sunny room upstairs. "This was Martha's sewing room," he explained. "It's the nicest room in the house. I hope you'll be comfortable here." He'd already cleaned it up and put fresh linens on the bed. Sarah looked around, her eyes wide with disbelief. She had expected harsh treatment and endless chores. This kindness was unexpected and overwhelming. She wasn't sure she could trust it, but a flicker of hope ignited within her. Thomas was initially wary of Mr. Abernathy. He clung to his mother's side, his big eyes watching the farmer with suspicion. He had seen too much sadness and uncertainty in his young life to trust easily. Mr. Abernathy, sensing Thomas's apprehension, didn't push. He simply offered a kind smile and a gentle nod. He knew it would take time for the boy to feel comfortable. The next morning, Mr. Abernathy found Thomas sitting on the porch, watching the chickens. He sat down beside him and began telling him stories about the farm animals, making silly voices and funny faces. Thomas giggled, his shyness slowly melting away. Mr. Abernathy started including Thomas in simple farm chores, like feeding the chickens and collecting eggs. He showed him how to plant seeds and water the garden. Thomas loved getting his hands dirty and helping out. He felt important and useful. Soon, Thomas was following Mr. Abernathy everywhere, eager to learn and lend a hand. He would sit beside him during meals, listening intently to his stories, and would often ask questions about the farm and the animals. A bond was forming between them, filling a void in both their lives. Mr. Abernathy found joy in Thomas's innocent curiosity, and Thomas found a father figure in the kind farmer. While Thomas readily embraced Mr. Abernathy's kindness, Sarah remained cautious. She couldn't quite understand his motives. Why would a man buy a pregnant woman and her child, only to treat them with such respect and generosity? Was he expecting something in return? Was this all too good to be true? She observed him closely, watching how he interacted with Thomas, how he tended to the farm, how he spoke to the animals. She saw no malice, no hidden agenda. He seemed genuinely kind and caring. She noticed how he always made sure she had enough to eat, how he offered her the most comfortable chair, and how he never asked her to do anything that was too strenuous. He even brought her books to read, noticing her interest in stories. Slowly, her suspicion began to fade. She saw the sadness in his eyes, the loneliness that mirrored her own. She realized that he wasn't trying to take advantage of her, he was simply trying to help. He was a good man, a truly good man. One evening, as they sat on the porch watching the sunset, Sarah finally allowed herself to relax. She smiled at Mr. Abernathy, a genuine smile that reached her eyes. "Thank you," she said softly. "For everything." In that moment, a fragile trust began to bloom between them. One evening, a fierce storm descended upon the farm. The wind howled like a hungry wolf, and the rain lashed against the windows. Lightning illuminated the sky in terrifying flashes, followed by deafening claps of thunder. Sarah, already anxious about her impending labor, grew increasingly distressed. The storm seemed to mirror her own inner turmoil. Suddenly, she felt a sharp pain in her abdomen. Her water broke. The baby was coming. Mr. Abernathy, hearing Sarah's cries, rushed to her side. He had never delivered a baby before, but he knew he had to stay calm and help her. He sent Thomas to fetch warm water and clean towels. Throughout the long, stormy night, Mr. Abernathy and Thomas worked together to comfort Sarah. Mr. Abernathy held her hand, offering words of encouragement, while Thomas brought her cool cloths for her forehead. The storm raged outside, but inside the farmhouse, a different kind of storm was brewing, the storm of new life. Mr. Abernathy remembered things his wife had told him about birthing. He tried to remember everything she had said. He did his best. It was a long night. As dawn broke, painting the sky with soft hues of pink and orange, Sarah gave birth to a healthy baby girl. The storm had passed, and a sense of peace settled over the farm. Mr. Abernathy held the tiny baby in his arms, marveling at her delicate features. Her small hands grasped his finger tightly, and her soft, innocent eyes gazed up at him. He felt a surge of emotion, a feeling he hadn't experienced since Martha was alive. He looked at Sarah, exhausted but radiant, and at Thomas, who was beaming with pride as he gazed at his new sister. In that moment, Mr. Abernathy realized something profound. He was starting to feel like a family again. The emptiness in his heart was slowly being filled with love and connection. He knew that life wouldn't be easy. There would be challenges and difficulties ahead. But he also knew that he wasn't alone anymore. He had Sarah, Thomas, and now this precious baby girl. He had a family. He smiled. The baby cooed. He looked forward to helping Sarah raise her. He hadn't felt this happy in a long time. He decided he was going to name her Martha. News of Mr. Abernathy's unusual family spread quickly through the town. At first, people were simply curious. They whispered about the auction, about the pregnant woman, and about the kind farmer who had taken them in. But curiosity soon turned into judgment. Some townspeople couldn't understand why Mr. Abernathy would bring a stranger into his home, especially a woman with a child. They gossiped behind his back, questioning his motives and speculating about his intentions. They wondered if he was being foolish or if he had lost his mind after Martha's death. Others were more critical. They believed that Mr. Abernathy had done something wrong by buying Sarah at the auction. They felt that it was immoral to treat people like property, regardless of their circumstances. They disapproved of his actions and made their feelings known through disapproving glances and hushed conversations. Even some of Mr. Abernathy's friends began to distance themselves, unsure of how to react to his new situation. He could feel their judgment, their disapproval, and it stung. He had only wanted to help, but now he was being ostracized by the community he had always been a part of. He wondered if he had made a mistake. He started to feel isolated again. The gossip and judgment took a more sinister turn when Mr. Silas, a wealthy and notoriously mean landowner, decided to intervene. Mr. Silas had a reputation for being ruthless and controlling, always getting what he wanted, regardless of the cost. He saw Mr. Abernathy's situation as an opportunity to assert his power. He arrived at the farm one afternoon, unannounced, his face set in a grim expression. He claimed that Mr. Abernathy was unfit to care for Sarah and her children. He argued that a grieving widower couldn't possibly provide a stable and nurturing environment for a young family. He declared that he would take Sarah and her children away, claiming he could provide them with a better life. He hinted at his influence in the town and suggested that Mr. Abernathy wouldn't stand a chance against him. Sarah, hearing Mr. Silas's threats, felt a surge of fear. She had finally found a safe haven, a place where she and her children could be happy. Now, this man was threatening to take it all away. Mr. Abernathy stood firm, his eyes blazing with anger. He wouldn't let Mr. Silas bully him or take away the family he was starting to build. He would fight for them. Mr. Silas's attempt to intimidate Mr. Abernathy backfired. While some townspeople had been critical, others had secretly admired his kindness and compassion. They had seen how he treated Sarah and Thomas with respect and how he had transformed his lonely farm into a warm and welcoming home. When they heard about Mr. Silas's threats, they were outraged. They knew that Mr. Abernathy was a good man, and they wouldn't let Mr. Silas bully him. They rallied together to support him and Sarah, determined to stand up to the wealthy landowner. The blacksmith offered to sharpen Mr. Abernathy's tools and protect his farm. The baker brought Sarah fresh bread and pies. The schoolteacher offered to tutor Thomas. Even some of Mr. Abernathy's former friends returned, apologizing for their judgment and offering their support. They gathered in front of Mr. Abernathy's farm, a united front against Mr. Silas. They made it clear that they wouldn't tolerate his bullying tactics and that they would stand by Mr. Abernathy and Sarah, no matter what. The town, once divided by gossip and judgment, was now united by kindness and compassion. Mr. Abernathy was moved to tears by their support. He wasn't alone after all. Seeing the townspeople rally around Mr. Abernathy, Sarah felt a warmth spread through her heart. She had never experienced such kindness and support before. She watched as Mr. Abernathy, humbled and grateful, accepted their offers of help. She saw the love and respect they had for him, and she realized that she felt the same way. She had come to the farm expecting nothing but hardship and servitude. Instead, she had found a safe haven, a loving community, and a man who treated her with kindness and respect. She had watched him care for Thomas, nurture the baby Martha, and transform his lonely farm into a happy home. She had also seen his sadness, his vulnerability, and his unwavering commitment to doing what was right. She had fallen in love with his gentle heart, his strong spirit, and his unwavering kindness. She realized that she didn't want to leave. She wanted to stay on the farm, by Mr. Abernathy's side, and build a life with him. She wanted to be part of his family. She knew it wouldn't be easy. There would still be challenges and difficulties ahead. But she also knew that she could face anything with Mr. Abernathy by her side. She had found love in the most unexpected place, and she wasn't going to let it go. That evening, after Thomas and baby Martha were asleep, Sarah approached Mr. Abernathy. She took a deep breath and confessed her feelings. "Mr. Abernathy," she said, her voice trembling slightly, I think I'm falling in love with you." Mr. Abernathy was taken aback. He hadn't expected Sarah to feel the same way. He had been so focused on helping her and her children that he hadn't allowed himself to consider the possibility of a romantic relationship. He looked at Sarah, her eyes filled with hope and vulnerability, and he realized that he felt the same way. He had grown to care for her deeply. He admired her strength, her resilience, and her kind heart. He took her hand in his and said, "Sarah, I've also fallen in love with you. It's not as a replacement for Martha. She'll always have a special place in my heart. But you're someone new and special. You've brought joy and laughter back into my life, and I can't imagine my life without you and the children." He added, "It happened so fast, I was scared to acknowledge it. But I love you too, Sarah." In that moment, they both knew that they were meant to be together. They had found love in the most unexpected of circumstances, and they were ready to embrace their future together. With their love confessed, Mr. Abernathy and Sarah knew what they had to do. They decided to get married. They wanted to create a real family, a bond that would solidify their commitment to each other and to Thomas and baby Martha. They announced their engagement to the town, and while some were still skeptical, many were overjoyed. They had witnessed the transformation in Mr. Abernathy, from a grieving widower to a loving father and partner. They had seen the kindness and compassion he had shown Sarah and her children. They knew that this marriage was born of love, not obligation. The wedding was a simple but beautiful affair, held in the farmhouse with the support of the townspeople. The blacksmith crafted a horseshoe for good luck, the baker baked a delicious cake, and the schoolteacher helped Thomas write a heartfelt speech. Sarah wore Martha's wedding dress, which had been carefully altered to fit her. As they exchanged vows, Mr. Abernathy and Sarah looked into each other's eyes, their hearts filled with love and hope. They knew that they had found something truly special, a family that was built on kindness, compassion, and unwavering love. The whispers of the critics faded away, replaced by the joyous cheers of a community that had come to accept and embrace their unusual family. The farm was transformed. It was no longer a place of silence and sorrow, but a haven of laughter and love. Sarah filled the house with warmth and joy, her gentle presence soothing Mr. Abernathy's grief. Thomas thrived under Mr. Abernathy's guidance, learning about farming and life with enthusiasm. Baby Martha brought endless smiles and coos, filling the house with her innocent charm. The kitchen, once empty and unused, was now filled with the aroma of freshly baked bread and simmering stews. The garden, once overgrown and neglected, bloomed with vibrant colors, thanks to Sarah's green thumb. The fields, once worked in solitude, were now filled with the sound of happy chatter as Mr. Abernathy and Thomas worked side by side. Neighbors often visited, bringing gifts and sharing stories. The farm became a gathering place, a symbol of community and acceptance. People realized that families could be found in the most unexpected ways, that love could blossom in the most unlikely of circumstances. Mr. Abernathy, Sarah, Thomas, and baby Martha had created a family that was stronger and more resilient than anyone could have imagined. They had proven that kindness, compassion, and love could conquer all, transforming a lonely farm into a happy home. Their story became a legend in the town, a testament to the power of the human heart. Mr. Abernathy, Sarah, Thomas, and baby Martha lived happily ever after on the farm. They faced challenges and hardships, as all families do, but they always overcame them with love and compassion. Thomas grew into a strong and kind young man, helping Mr. Abernathy with the farm work and always looking out for his mother and sister. Baby Martha blossomed into a beautiful and intelligent young woman, bringing joy and laughter to everyone she met. Mr. Abernathy and Sarah's love for each other only grew stronger with each passing year. They cherished every moment together, grateful for the unexpected journey that had brought them together. They showed the town that kindness and love are more important than anything else. They taught them that families come in all shapes and sizes and that what truly matters is the love and support that they share. Their story became a timeless tale, passed down from generation to generation, reminding everyone that even in the darkest of times, love and compassion can always prevail. The farm continued to be a beacon of hope and acceptance, a testament to the power of the human heart. And so, the desperate widower, the pregnant woman, and her child found their happily ever after, proving that sometimes, the craziest things can lead to the most beautiful outcomes. The crazy thing that happened wasn't just the auction itself, though that was certainly unusual. The truly remarkable thing was the unexpected love and family that blossomed from that unlikely beginning. It was the way Mr. Abernathy's kindness transformed a desperate situation into a beautiful story of hope and acceptance. It was the way Sarah found a safe haven and a loving partner, escaping a life of hardship and uncertainty. It was the way Thomas found a father figure and a place to belong, finally feeling secure and loved. It was the way a grieving widower found joy and laughter again, his heart healed by the love of a new family. The crazy thing was the ripple effect of kindness that spread throughout the town, transforming a community divided by judgment into one united by compassion. It was the realization that families aren't defined by blood, but by love, support, and unwavering commitment. It was the understanding that even the most desperate situations can lead to the most beautiful outcomes, if only we open our hearts to kindness and embrace the unexpected. The story of Mr. Abernathy, Sarah, Thomas, and baby Martha proved that love can conquer all, and that sometimes, the craziest things can change everyone's lives for the better. The end.